Hey guys, it's Mr. Chapman. This is video 12 in our series of videos on database skills. This one looks at relational database structure. So we're leaving the student database behind and we're going a little bit deeper into the skill set and constructing a database made up of not one but 3 tables. Now, the purpose of this particular video is just to show you the linking process to make a relational structure, not to go back over all the processes of building tables and fields. If you need revision on that, you need to go back to previous videos. So just some notes before we begin. The definition of a relational database is any database with 2 or more linked tables, and they are linked through key fields. A reminder that a primary key is a unique identifier for a table, and a familiar example would be the student ID in the students table in the students database. When you have a relational structure, you will have multiple tables and you'll need to make an appropriate choice of what will be the primary key. A foreign key is new. It is a key field that we use to link one table to the primary key of another table. And you must have these, and they must match in name and they must match in type as well. And I'll go through that when we actually get into the database example. And finally, just the purpose. You might be asking the question, well, why do we go to the process of doing more complex things? Creating a relational database removes redundancy or unnecessary repetition of information. I'll just fix my little typo there. And I'll move the Word document down just so that you can see in this little diagram what we're going to try and build. This diagram is an example of a hand-drawn ERD or entity relationship diagram, and the columns represent different tables of information. We're going to have a books table, which consists of book ID, title, author, genre, and ISBN, which is a generic serial number for books. We have a loans table made up of loan ID, loan date, return date, book ID, and customer ID, and I'll talk about those in just a moment. And we have a customers table which is made up of customer ID, surname, given name, address, and phone number. Okay, so just coming back to the loans one, we have 2 fields at the bottom which are foreign keys. They are matching keys to the tables of the other tables we want to link to. So book ID is matching to the book table and customer ID is matching to the customer table. Okay, so moving across into a new database, I've already constructed the tables, so it's actually a very quick and simple process to join tables. However, the thinking that goes in behind it and the planning is really important. So I'll just go through and show you what each of the tables are. In customer ID, we have, I will just fix this one. I don't want duplicate primary keys, so that will be the primary key, customer ID. I'll set that to auto number, and it is the primary key field. Surname, given name, address, and phone number, that's all fine. If I go to loans, you can see that loans has its own loan ID, which is the primary key. And in addition to that, towards the bottom, book ID and customer ID, they are foreign key fields and they are set to a number data type which matches the auto number. They are both numbers which can be linked together. And in the books table, we have book ID, which is the primary key, and we've got the other fields set up. It's worth pointing out that I've done a little bit of data validation on some of these. So if I go across to loan, the date and time data type has been changed. The format is short date, so that when we enter in that information, we want that to always be the short date and nothing else. And another appropriate one might be in the customers table. We might set up a validation rule or input mask for the input mask for a phone number. And there is an example there at the top. So next, that's fine, and finish. Okay, so those tables are set up. The way that we need to then work on joining these tables, We must save any changes and close them down. So all of the objects that you want to join, they need to be closed. We then need to go to Database Tools, which is a new tab that we haven't looked at before, and we need to locate the Relationships tab. So that takes us to a new window, and what we're basically going to do using Microsoft Access, we're going to build one of these ERDs that I showed you in the Word document. To do that, we need to select all of the tables that we're going to use, and we click Add and close that window down. If you need to make yourself some room, you can move these boxes around. This is a graphical interface, and you may want to rearrange things as well. So I'm just going to move customers over to the right, loans in the center, because that is the focus of my database. And building the relationships is simply clicking and holding on top of the primary key and moving it over and dropping it on top of the matching foreign key in the other table. So what I've just done there is selected the primary key book ID in the books table, and I've dropped it on top of its foreign key or its matching key in the loans table. And we want to select enforce referential integrity and updates and deletes. That was spoken about in our database systems video. Basically, it just means that the tables recognize changes, and if you try and enter data that's not available in another table, it will just show up an error message. So we'll create that. Notice that it gives you the little 1 and the infinity symbol. That means that the way that it is structured, there is a one-to-many relationship between the books and the loans entities in this database. So one book can be loaned out many times. That's what it means. Repeating the process, moving over to customers. Click, drag, and drop over the top of customer ID and hit create. And there we have it. We've actually created the relational structure, and it's that simple. So we'll save that change and we'll close it down. And now if I go and open my loans, customers, and books tables, there's no difference in working with the database. It's just a matter of starting to enter in records. Okay, so I will pause the video here, and in the next video we'll look at manipulating some of the information that's actually in the database. So thanks for watching.